What does SCP actually stand for? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is our informal motto, Secure, Contain, Protect. In the original article of SCP-173, you will see no mention of Secure, Contain, Protect or the SCP Foundation. Both of those came later. The original SCP simply stands for Special Containment Procedures. Every entity or object we contain has their own SCP number because these are the Special Containment Procedures for those entities.
They're trying to be high. They're trying to be. She wanted me. That bitch is a. They're trying to be high. They're trying to be. She wanted me. That bitch is a.
SCPs that could end humanity, Part 5. SCP-805. As you can see, this one is a wooden horse, and whoever touches it gets infected. When you touch it with your bare skin, you get infected and you start with a rash, and then you slowly turn into a wooden structure like that. So if the horse ends up in the wrong hands, it could end humanity.
What you got?
Oh,
What's out there?
have we got something?
Baby? Oh my god, again. Seriously.
Oh, a Harbinger entity. Alright, I'll send the mobile task force
Go
over.
on, get! Jeez.
Oh, that works.
Creepiest SCPs that you don't want to be real, Part 2. This SCP is called the Floating Shadows. It's an anomaly in a town which takes form as a group of shadows. These shadows follow everyone who gets in the town. All of the town residents went missing without any victims. And when people go to investigate the place, only a handful survive. Would you visit the town?
Scary SCPs. In this one, I'm going to be talking about SCP-096, also known as Shy Guy. This guy right here. SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring up to approximately 2.38 meters in height. This subject shows very little muscle mass, but don't let that fool you. Because this creature is extremely docile, but until somebody views its face, it becomes extremely dangerous. Literally impossible to stop. Because this SCP ran up to speeds of 21 miles per hour and even survived a direct hit from a fighter jet. And all records of anybody who's seen its face was unfortunately eliminated. And if you ever see SCP-096's face, all you can do is sit down and pray.
Creepiest SCPs that you don't want to be real, Part 6. SCP-169. This is a huge SCP. It can use the Empire State Building as a toothpick. And they cannot even contain this SCP, they can only study it and observe it. Its length is believed to be up to 5,000 miles. The worst thing is that it can create tsunamis, earthquakes and tides with just a flick of its tail. Even if it falls over by an accident, it can put a whole country underwater.
You asked me what the scariest SCP was, and though I don't know the whole archive by heart, I do know that those who know about it find this one to be at the top of the list. SCP-2718 is a bit of a misnomer. Its number is constantly changing in the database, and it's very hard to lock down. Upon discovering it, you also must get past several dangerous cognitohazards. And if you manage to survive those, you may wish you hadn't. One member of the O5 Council passed away while holding crucial information the Foundation needed. And so for the first time, the Foundation brought someone back from the dead. Newly revived, this member of the O5 Council then dedicated themselves to achieving immortality, to avoid what they found on the other side. He testified that you do not lose your awareness after death, and are forced to passively feel every bit of decay your body goes through for eternity.
These are the most dangerous SCPs. SCP-017, the Shadow Person. So this is a humanoid entity with the shape of a child. It's basically something like a shadow. But if you cast a shadow on SCP-017, it will become huge and it will get you inside of it. And then it will return to its normal size, but you will be gone. It is said that you may be eaten or may be transported to another dimension, but we still don't know.
So basically, SCP-007 is a dude with a fully operational planet for an abdomen. The subject is a Caucasian male who claims to be 28 years of age. The sphere appears to be a miniature near duplicate of Earth. The subject displays no discomfort that many of their organs are missing, and in the subject's words, "I just woke up one day and there it was. I don't have any idea how it got there." Subject does not require food nor water, but has been known to consume both on occasion. What happens to said substance after consumption is unknown. Upon the globe, 2 intelligent species have been spotted, yet contact is yet to be made. Technologically, they are approximated to about 15th century Earth. Subject has shown little desire to escape, though repeatedly requests access to a computer with internet connection.
Scariest SCPs, Part 16. SCP-513. So this one is actually a cowbell. If you ring this cowbell, it will summon this creature. This monster will stalk and torment the person who heard the ring. At first you won't know that it is there, but you will feel it, and then you will start seeing glimpses of it. But when you fall asleep it will attack you and then go back in the shadows. And it will continue doing that until you die from exhaustion or kill yourself. Would you ring the bell? SCPs You Don't Want to Be Real Part 9. SCP-939. They are predators known as with many voices. They have almost no organs, they don't have a heart, they don't have a nervous system. When this SCP kills a person, it learns its voice. Then they use this voice to get new victims. They first call out for help, and when the person goes near them, they kill them with a bite. If you manage to escape, it exhales a chemical which causes amnesia. And then it uses the voice trick again. How would you escape?
Let's talk about one of the OG SCPs that scared the shit out of me. 352, aka Baba Yaga, and that name fucking fits. For starters, she was first captured by a village. Pretty much she was known as the witch in the woods, and the village was like, people keep going missing, fuck this lady, we're bringing her to justice. And she ended up killing the entire village, and that's how the Foundation found out about her. The interesting thing about her is that she grows these spindly hairs from her body. They're long, thin, and white, and some are translucent. She's pretty much a fucking spider. The thing is when a person touches one of these hairs, they get drugged. It kind of sends you on like a fucking acid trip sort of thing, and it makes you pretty much immobile. To which she then proceeds to eat you alive. Sometimes just in pieces, taking her time. Her favorite meat is toddler meat, which the Foundation will give to her so she plays nice. Also, her house is an SCP. No one knows where the fuck she came from or if she was human at some point and became like this. Either way, the bitch gave me nightmares in middle school.
SCPs You Don't Want to Be Real Part 11. SCP-082. This SCP is a human, but through a known process he got mutated. It is 8 feet tall and has disproportionate features. It has countless bullets, knives and swords inside his flesh. It seems peaceful at first, but it is known to attack people. Sometimes it likes to chop his victims' heads off. His jaw can break bones and he enjoys biting down on skulls. He has no motivation to kill or eat his victims, he just does it for fun. Who do you think can fight him? SCPs That Could End Humanity Part 3. SCP-1471. So actually this one is an app. Up here you can see the name of the app, and once the user downloads the app he cannot delete it. Then it will start sending pictures with the SCP to the users every 3 to 6 hours, and the pictures will contain locations that the user has visited. After 24 hours the SCP will show up in places that the user has recently visited. After 72 hours you will get pictures of the SCP near you, and after 90 hours you will visualize the SCP around you, and it will try to communicate with you in a language you don't understand. So it could drive insane almost everybody.
Let's talk about a more tragic SCP. 053, aka the young girl. She looks like the average 3-year-old girl. She's a little bit ahead mentally wise, and she can do, simple sentences and stuff like that, like a 3-year-old. However, a problem arises when anyone over the age of 3 makes eye contact with her. They'll pretty much become very hostile towards her, and if they try to attack her, they'll die of like a heart attack and or seizure. And any damage they might have been able to inflict upon her will immediately heal. And she seems kind of wholly ignorant on the effects she has on people. Thing is they place her in containment with 682, the hard-to-kill reptile. Mostly because they were kind of hoping that he would try to attack her and she'd neutralize him with her powers. However, what ended up happening is they straight vibed. Like, after a while, she was drawing him pictures and laying on him, and they were playing and shit. So, like, how old is 682? Also, because of that experiment, the Foundation tried to give 682 kids, and he ate them. The Foundation's not that bright sometimes.